25.
Yes, sir.
Episode 25 of the Bento Boxcast is coming at you guys hot and ready. I hope you guys are ready to chow down on this lovely anime dosage because we got to come into you guys today, this week, whenever you are listening to it. But of course, let me just start off the right way. Welcome back, guys. This is a brand new episode of the Bento Boxcast, the most animeist podcast of all the internet. Like always, I'm Hector. It is me. But I am not alone. I am joined by a good band. One of the most animeist guys I know in literally all the internet. It's my guy, Rafa. Rafa, say hello to the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Man, ready to do this, Hector. Ready to do this once again, baby.
Oh, we back at it. We back at it. We're here coming at you guys on whatever audio platform you may so choose. We got you covered on Spotify. You know you got me covered on Apple Podcasts. And, of course, any other platform associated with Anchor.com. But, of course, you won't only find us on here. You'll find us at our mainstay, our main hub, our main girl, YouTube.com. Just look us up there at Bento Boxcast, and you'll see our iconic logo. So click the link, go to the page, hit subscribe, hit the bell because you want to get the notifications for every update we put out there. And before I continue with this intro, basically, right? You know, we made a statement last week in the last pod saying the episode is going to be coming out on Sundays. Rafa, we decided that that's not going to happen anymore.
It didn't make sense for one of the reasons that we were saying, like, oh, well, because of this, and it's like, no, we didn't really think it out. So, oopsies.
Yeah, so that was a little oops on our part. So I know for those of you that cared so much about a Friday drop, we're going back. I promise we're going back to Fridays, and hopefully you guys are very excited for that one. But to continue, in every episode, the viewers, that's you, have a chance to add some topics, to suggest some talking points for us to discuss. And the only way to have that happen is if you tweet at us at the Bento Boxcast, or if you go to our personal Twitters and tag us there via ultra_vman, which is myself, and me talk anime, which is Rafa. The other option, because we always give you guys 3 options. The other option is to join our Discord. The link to everything, including our Discord, will be in the description down below. So definitely feel free to chat with us and get involved in our community. Pull up to the Kotatsu. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say about anime, about anything really. So can't wait to talk to you guys. Whew. Okay.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So now that we have gone through that, I haven't done this in a very long time, Rafa. All right?
Yeah.
Rafa, I want to know, how are you doing? How has your past week since we uploaded been?
Been pretty good, man. Playing a lot of video games, watching some anime. You know how it is.
Oh, that
Working.
I do. Yes, sir.
Just excited to record again, man. You know.
I feel you on that one. But you know what? Actually, I'm really glad you mentioned working, because here's the dealio. One of our great friends, one of our S tier, S++ viewers, Mr. J, Mr. Josue Guevara, in the comments, well, guess what? He wasn't there, but he was in my Twitter notifications, kind of like I said, guys. He sent me, some interesting articles for us to talk about on the podcast, and I just really wanted to hear your thoughts on this, because it is not only about an anime that we both know and love, but it's about something kind of really dope for the anime community in general. So I'm going to dive in, courtesy of Josue Guevara. On Monday, Jay tweeted at me and tagged me in a post saying, Jujutsu Kaisen has become number 2 on topics trending globally on Twitter immediately after episode 7 airing in Japan.
Wow.
Now, that's actually kind of nutty, but here's the reasoning as to why it became number 2 trending on Twitter in the world. The reasoning behind it, or rather, in the world, in Japan especially, the reasoning behind it is that they were literally talking about the reveal of the sensei, the trainer, the teacher, Satoru Gojo. He showed his eyes. That's it.
Oh, the guy with the
With a blindfold.
the blindfold. Oh, they show his eyes. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that is that's the reasoning why it became number two trending in the world.
Hey man, I mean, have did they ever show Kakashi Sensei's face in Naruto?
Yes, very later.
And I'm pretty sure that was a big deal when that happened
Yeah, that also did go trending. You're right.
because I remember when I was watching Naruto, I was like, man, why don't they show his face, man? I want to see how he looks. And I remember looking it up like how does Kakashi look on on Google and before like that she showed his face and stuff like that. So of course it's a big deal. It's a big deal, Hector. Don't
I mean,
downplay it now.
I'm not super downplaying it, but I found that really hilarious that it became number two because of, well, primarily because of the eyes, right, and how he showed his eyes and essentially showed his domain expansion, which you kind of find out what that is within episode 7. But um, yeah, I mean, the show itself I think is really phenomenal. I'm very very really really into the show. It's such a good show to get into, dive into. It has great action, great storytelling, great story building, and things like that. Like you really get a lot of, I guess the term, I'm forgetting the term that I'm trying to say, but the thing I can think of is like you get your bang for your buck when you're watching this
Hmm.
show. And it's really really dope. I love every single main character. Yuji, um, the other two classmates, which I'm spacing out on their name on, but the one that can manipulate curses, and the other one with the voodoo doll nails, and the hammer. Like all the main characters plus the characters that we'll eventually meet are really really incredible, really fantastic. And episode 7 was literally a delight. So if you guys have not caught up to it, I do not want to spoil it for you all. But other than the fact that Satoru Gojo shows his eyes, yeah, yeah. I hope you guys get to check it out and definitely talk to us about it in the Discord, because we do have a spoiler warning, spoiler beware channel where you guys can discuss and things like that. But this episode really, really, really caught my eye. Get it? Caught my eye. Uh,
Ha,
it was great. So
ha.
just to see that something like this made it go to number two trending worldwide, that's really really cool. For those that aren't into anime and don't understand like the meaning behind it, like that's pretty nutty just to get number two via something like that. Um, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. But Rafa, continuing on this Jujutsu Kaisen kind of kick, Jay also tagged me in another post on Twitter. And essentially, the coolest thing to come out from something that I haven't tagged in is to see a personal creator, personal writer of a show discuss his gratitude or her gratitude towards a project that they've been working on. And Toho producer, or rather, a quick translation of the Jujutsu Kaisen interview article with Toho producer from Any Media December issue was released when they discussed the show in general and the popularity that it's been kind of growing with just all around the world, especially with anyone that has access to Crunchyroll or has just been able to watch it. And essentially, the creator came out with a lengthy interview and kind of just discussed how deeply thankful they are, and how it's number one trending on Twitter on the day that they broadcast every week, or essentially dropping the next episode or the newest episode every week. It kind of bumps up to number one that day every day, or that day every week. And it's really really crazy, and they're showing like such love for the show. So you're just showing immense signs of gratitude and just huge thanks coming from him. And the coolest thing is that it says that he gained more inspiration to write even more epic scenes for the things to come, both in the manga and for people that are waiting for just strictly anime. Um, so it's really really great to see a writer that says, "Oh my God, this is I see that my show or my pride and joy is getting all this love," and it kind of gives them more drive to kind of get into their work and be like, all right, let me make sure I deliver, and even astonish and surprise people with greater heights than they originally thought of for my show, or had in mind for my show.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to hear. Well, for myself, you really don't hear of like a creator or someone who's, or their worker and things like that, saying like, hey, thanks so much for all the support and things like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can see that like on Twitter and stuff like that. But no, it's cool to see. Most of the time, um, just in general, some of these creators tend to kind of screw things up, and say something like that, like turns the community against them. Like for example, outside of the anime, J.K. Rowling, the lady who made all the Harry Potter books. For the longest, she was like, "Oh, thank you, everybody," and then she started, saying some really crazy stuff on Twitter. Everybody's against her or whatever. So, um, yeah, I don't know why that reminded me of that, but um, no, it's really cool to see that this guy's like, it's saying thanks and everything, and especially now that he's getting more motivated to put in even more work to really, try to outdo himself for the upcoming, whatever upcoming stories he has planned out for the show and for the manga itself. So I think it's sounds like the show is going to be the one thing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, especially whenever if they decide to continue into the next season, it's gonna be really really great. And just to look forward to the future, episodes and things like that. I will say, I caved in and I started reading the
I know
manga.
it. I know it. It was just a matter of time.
And man, oh man, oh oh my god, it's
Hmm.
so good. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything because it's absolutely fantastic, but like, oh man, dude, the show is only gonna go up from here. I cannot wait to see it animated. I'm gonna be honest, as much as I love reading manga, right? I feel like this one, in my experience and and just diving deep into the manga world and just kind of, I think at this point I'm way past dipping my toes in there. Like I'm jumping in head first into manga and reading stuff that I really really enjoy. This one to me screams uh vibes of wait till you see it animated.
Okay, okay.
So like yeah, you can get, chills reading something. I don't really get that often other than with like Haikyuu, other than with like Rent a Girlfriend, things like that. But this one really like, for example, I read what happened in episode 7 and what's going to happen in episode 8 and 9. But man, is it just so like, it's so more sick watching it through animation, things like that, than obviously reading it. I mean, that seems like something that most people would kind of just say and would agree with, but like, it is so epic to see that. Of course some stuff is going to be skipped because they have to fit everything in 20 minutes, but or whatever the allotted time they have for the anime, but it's so like, I can't wait to see some of these action scenes play out and like watch some of these arcs that they're gonna go through. I'm not like super caught up with the anime or with the manga just yet. I believe I'm like on chapter 60 of like, I don't know, 100 and something, close to 200. So, um, yeah, I mean, trust me, like it's super dope. I cannot wait to see all this animated. But yeah, no surprise to anybody. I went ahead and started reading it. Um, and that's all that Jay's kind of tagged us in, and I'm very very thankful to Jay for doing that. But it's really really dope to see that he also likes the show. We've kind of talked about it before in the past, where like he's super super into the sensei, and like he kind of says he gives off Kakashi vibes. But in my opinion, I feel like Gojo gives off more badass vibes than Kakashi did at the very start.
Um, I mean, I do see the Kakashi comparison. He's a sensei. He knows what he's doing. He's kind of like leading the guy on, or kind of showing him the ropes or whatever. So, I mean, I can see the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he did get his intro was way cooler than Kakashi's. So like
Yeah.
his fight with the main guy, when the main guy was when he was the bad guy. I don't even know I forgot the name of
Oh, Sukuna. Yeah.
the curse that took over his body.
Mm-hmm.
When the sensei showed up and he's all like, "Oh, I guess I'll handle this, my student. Chill out." And then he just put the work in. Like that intro was badass. That I don't even remember how Kakashi was introduced, but like I'm pretty sure it was nowhere near as cool as that.
I feel like for Kakashi, he didn't get like his badass moment until the fight with Zabuza. The
Hmm.
ninja of like the hidden miss with the giant blade. I feel like he didn't start getting like that huge praise. Well, actually, maybe during no, like the badassness that that Gojo kind of gave off didn't happen till later, at least in my opinion, for Naruto. So yeah, but I mean, he definitely does give off the badass sensei that kind of teaches the main protagonist. I mean,
And
obviously, it's like parallel.
and also it could be that like we kind of expected from them now because Kakashi was that sensei and he was silly and kind of goofy at times at the beginning. Well, he was always was, but like you got that vibe from him. He was the pervert reading that the naughty books and stuff like that. So it could have been something like at the beginning you were kind of like I don't say doubting Kakashi, but you're like, oh man, look at this loser. Like he ain't gonna be all that, kind of subverting your expectations of him, at the beginning, and then they kind of flipped it on you when they start showing Kakashi as an actual badass he can actually do and handle himself and things like that. And it could be that nowadays we're just so used to that trope to that idea of that sensei who's silly and wacky and who's like has a good heart and could crack jokes and people crack jokes on him, but at the same time is the reason he's a sensei. Is the reason why he's the badass. Um, so it could be that we just kind of expect it from the characters now, almost. Because I remember at the beginning when I was watching Naruto, I didn't think of anything like that with Kakashi. I was just like, he's just the pervert teacher guy. Like I didn't really care for him like that. Like, oh, he's a badass. But going watching, you know, the intro of this guy yeah, he was cracking jokes. He was being kind of chilled out, kind of more laid back. But you kind of knew, or you kind of had the expectation of like, okay, this guy's because his attitude towards the situation, you kind of knew he's kind of a badass. So it could be that like that maybe because of like characters like Kakashi, we kind of expect something like that now.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with that. I think whenever I think of a sensei, like, or just some kind of teacher towards like characters, for example, like Deku and My Hero, or like you said, Naruto and Kakashi, like you just automatically expect that they're gonna be some kind of badass, even if they are kind of quirky or goofy. I think it especially that's kind of tends to be the case with like are they called shonen manga, shonen
Yeah,
anime?
shonen,
Yeah.
shonen, yeah,
So
like the
yeah.
action anime. I never really got that from. See the I got that more from like Naruto, like with Kakashi or what's his name, Jiraiya, like especially Jiraiya, just how wacky he was. But the cool thing about My Hero, I don't really get that vibe from My Hero, you know, like
Well, what
like
about
with
the
with
what's his name? The literally their homeroom teacher, the one that's in the sleeping bag all the time. But then when he's like Eraserhead, but then when he
Urashima was
fights,
a
yeah.
no, he was a badass from the start. Like I didn't, yeah, I knew from the beginning he was like, oh, this guy's no joke right here. Like he's with it. And that's what I was gonna say. Like for example, like All Might. I never got like, oh, he's just a wacky character or whatever. Like All Might was like, this is their Superman,
Yeah.
from the
Okay.
start. All Might is their Superman in that world.
Mm.
So like, I think it actually it's more of a compliment to My Hero and the writing of the actual characters, where for me at least, I can't really just pin them down as, oh, it's just another type of this character, it's another type of this character. You know, it feels like there's actually more to them. That's what I get from My Hero. Like for example, like All My or some of the other teachers. Um, Other than the loud mic guy, I forgot his name, but he's wacky. But I'm pretty sure he's a badass too. I never saw them as like, oh, it's another wacky character being wacky, and oh, then later on we'll find out they're badass. Like from the start, I was like, okay, All Might is their Superman. You can just tell that, you know. Or another example of a trope that you commonly see in these type of shonen anime. Um, Bakugo, you're like, oh well, that's the Sasuke of the story. You know,
Oh, yeah. I can see that, yeah.
oh, that's Sasuke. That's this. He's the moody guy who's the rival, and because he's not as good as the main guy, he's gonna betray or he's gonna go to the bad side, whatever. And they didn't do that. You know, as of where the anime is right now, um, Bakugo he's just doing his own thing. He is on his own path of becoming a hero,
Hmm.
and it's not the same as Deku's, right? But he is not he doesn't waver on his beliefs because there was a certain part in the anime where the bad guys got to Bakugo. I don't know if you remember that,
Hmm.
but they're like they captured him. They're like, "Hey, bro, like, why are you dealing with all this BS over here with these guys? Come over here with us, the bad guys, and we'll show you true power." And then what Bakugo did is that he stuck to his gun and said, "No, like I'm gonna get y'all. I'm gonna capture every single one of y'all because I'm the next All Might." You know. So
Yeah.
it's like I thought that was super cool. This is one thing with My Hero is that they tend not to really like. There's these tropes that we expect from shonen, they're kind of not doing that, or or there's a certain twist with these characters where we don't expect that, or they switch things up a little bit where we're like, oh well, this is gonna happen, and it doesn't happen. So it's
Hmm.
really I thought it was really really cool. Um, like yeah, just with everybody, not just with the teachers, with Bakugo, with Deku, and just yeah, just I ended up talking about My Hero, but My Hero's such a great show, so if you haven't seen it, go watch My Hero. But yeah, that's I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. I mean, yeah, like the show itself is gonna be really great. I remember the characters now. The moody character that you talk about is Fushigoro. Fushigoro, I think is his name. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the tropes that Jujutsu Kaisen is not really falling into that most shonen animes do. So that's really really cool to also see. So it's kind of similar to My Hero in a sense. But yeah, that's it for our viewer topics. But actually, Rafa, we're running a little late, Rafa. It's almost time for us to tune into the news segment. So, Rafa, cue us in, please.
It's time for anime news with our anime correspondent Hector, and with me with a topic too.
I was about to say, yeah, Rafa does indeed have a topic, but I kind of want to start off with one big juicy one, which is honestly the only one I do have for this week. Because there are some more topics that kind of came out for news, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Rafa. They are main topic news. There's stuff that I want to actually dive deep into, kind of dive deep and discuss as well for the viewers, and just between me and you, and kind of riff and see what you think about it. But for this anime news segment, I wanted to talk about something really, really dope. So I'm gonna begin. Attack on Titan, the final season, broadcasts in 3 weeks of, or rather, since the Monday, November 15th. So, in 3 weeks' time, that'll be, let me just look at my handy dandy calendar. Well, actually, rather, that was Sunday when the post was released, but that's 1, 2, 3. So, December 6th. December 6th is when the anime will come out and be aired, or rather, the first episode, the final season is going to be aired. And they actually just dropped the first ever teaser for the final season. It was a quick 15-second teaser, but my God, was it a lot. I don't know if you were able to watch Rafa, which I think that you
I I did see it, and I have no idea what's happening.
were. Oh, that's right. You're not
It
like
was
fully caught up, right?
nope, and I have no idea what's happening. I saw Aaron for a second. There was Titans falling from the sky, and just a bunch of quick images, and I have no idea what's happening.
I mean,
Um,
it's all right. Just for somebody who has caught up, I have not read the manga, so I don't know what's going to be happening. However, for someone who has caught up, the show itself looks incredibly intense. It's going to be incredibly action packed, which what it seems like. Aaron's essentially running across a modern town. You know, there's like Rafa said, titans falling from the sky. We see a shot of Mikasa with short hair. So she has cut a lot of her beautiful black locks to create more of a shorter haired look. And I'm honest, like watching this 15-second teaser trailer really just makes me more excited for the show itself to air. I mean, it's like I said, it's super short, it's super quick, but man, does it look clean. It's something definitely to look forward to, and yeah, like this December 6th, December 7th is when it's going to be airing. So I am tentatively waiting for this drop. I cannot wait to continue watching this show, and maybe once it's all said and done, I'll go back and read the manga because I know there's a huge debate about whether manga or anime is better, but I'm a huge fan of the anime, so that's where I kind of stand with the whole thing. But yeah, Ralph, I mean, hopefully this kind of just, I guess, lights the fire underneath you to kind of catch up with the show and kind of be ready for the drop. You have 3 weeks as of this week to catch up.
Yeah, and out of everything anime related, the biggest ball drop I've ever done was stop watching Attack on Titan because it's such a amazing show. You know, I remember when I was super into it myself, and I don't know, just over time I kind of just stopped watching it, and um, honestly, I need to get back into it because it's literally one of the biggest animes out there as in modern times. You know, I remember when the show first aired and everyone was watching Attack on Titan, not just anime fans, like people who never watched anime. The the people who I would say at most watched Dragon Ball Z, and that's it. Like everybody was watching Attack on Titan at the beginning, so it's something that I definitely need to get back into.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully that does kind of bring up some stuff for everybody else who are kind of in the same position as you to just kind of catch up, or really just kind of starting out because, like I said, you have 3 weeks. That is plenty of time to watch 3 seasons, especially during the current times in the world.
Hmm.
You have time. You can binge it. It's like
Right.
it's definitely a good show to for sure to binge. I think actually the way these 3 seasons are set up, like you're gonna have a good time if you do decide to binge it from season 1 to season 3 and just kind of be ready for the season 4 release. And yeah, I mean the fact that it's only gonna get 4 seasons kind of does suck a bit, but the show itself is just incredibly popular that I already know it's gonna hit. Or actually probably surpass like the Jujutsu Kaisen, the Rent a Girlfriends, the My Hero like level of anticipation and levels of excitement each and every week that it drops a new episode. So, whew.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see if they nail this last season. I could definitely see Attack on Titan going into the history books as
Yeah,
one of the top anime. If it's not
completely
already
agree.
there, if it's not already there, it's going to be there depending on this season.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't fall into the previous like shows that get a lot of love and got a lot of hype where like they just kind of fall flat on their face with the ending. So
Right.
I'm super crossing my fingers for this, man. Like I really hope it doesn't give me a a Demon Slayer or a what is it called, a Haikyuu anime ending.
Mm.
I'm gonna not Haikyuu, my bad. What's the show that I'm thinking of? Oh, Shokugeki no Soma. Food Wars. It better not give me an ending like that, dude. I'm gonna be super pissed. But cannot wait. Super excited for it. And that is actually my article, Rafa. So we can get into your lovely article that you have for us as well.
Yeah, of course. It's not, you know, it's not that big of an article, but it's something I found very funny, something I wanted to bring up and let y'all know. Okay. Yesterday, this article was posted on AnimeNewsNetwork.com, and it says here, man arrested for selling modified nude Madoka Magica figures. Okay. Now, Hector, I'm a huge fan of Madoka Magica. I've talked about it many times before in the past. It's one of my favorite, seriously, one of my top five of anime of all time. I love Madoka Magica. I love what the show does. So, going through Anime News Network and seeing what they got going on, I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What is this? All right, let me take a look. So, it says here, According to the police, the suspect's bank account indicates that he earned approximately 5.8 million yen, which is about $55,000. Okay. From figure sales between 2018 to 2020. So this guy has made over $50,000 in the past 2 years selling fake, modified, bootleg, naked naked figures from the characters Madoka Magica. It says here, Sankei News reported last Wednesday that a 34-year-old man was arrested by Ibaraki Prefecture Police for selling unauthorized modified versions of figures from Madoka Magico, pretty much from the third film, specifically from the third film. Right? The man admitted to the charges, saying, "I did it to pay for my living costs." Oof, dang, that's sad. The man reportedly attached the attached the heads of the figures to nude female models and sold them on an auction site around August 30th last year. According to the police, the suspect's bank account, okay, I read that earlier, but I'll just go through it again. The suspect's bank account indicates he earned about 5.8 million yen from the sales between 2018 and 2020. And the police are investigating further offenses. Mm, That's it. That's all they got on that article right there. Um, Dang, I kind of got myself sad reading that, Hector.
I
You know,
mean,
the guy was like, "Hey man, I'm just trying to pay my bills." I was like, "Oh shoot!" It's not like he was like, "Ah, yeah, I like it when they naked. Yeah, I'm a fiend." Like, no, he was just like, "Hey man, I'm just trying to pay my bills, bro. I'm trying to figure it out here on my own, trying to do my thing. Y'all screwing me up, dog.
I
Shoot."
legit like when you had brought up the article, I was like, oh, okay, that's gonna be kind of like funny and wild to talk about. But yeah, for real, like it's like, hey man,
No,
I'm just trying to make a living, dog. Like if this works,
yeah,
it works.
yeah, and then like Cause I skimmed through it when I found it earlier. I'm like, oh, what the heck? Cause I like Madoka Magica. It's one of my favorite anime ever, like I said. And I skimmed through it. I'm like, oh man, look at this guy. What a silly fool out here, doing up to no good, doing this and doing that. And I just looked through it really quick. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll read this. But I guess I somehow skipped the part where he said that. I'm like, oh dang, this guy's just trying to make it out here, and now he's in jail. So,
Damn,
oh
man.
well.
Damn, everybody just knocking his hustle, bro. Let the people who care about nude Madoka Magica characters like let them buy his work.
But I mean, would he? Actually, I was gonna say like, well, he modified them, right? So he changed them themselves,
I
right?
think the
So
part
why would he?
that the part that he gets arrested for is because like I guess you can't make profit off of somebody else's product. So like for example, just using the Madoka Magica like name and stuff like that, like that's
Oh, okay,
technically
I
a
see
big
that
no no already.
because okay, because I was gonna say like this is guy who I watch on the internet, like YouTube and stuff like that. Like
Hmm.
you know what a locale is?
Yes.
Okay, so he's a locale. He's like one of the original locales. People who don't know what locales are, it's just weird, wacky people on the internet that people follow, people watch, and stuff like that. The one that I'm talking about is this guy named Christian. He's been on the internet for forever and ever. Like his life is all documented on the internet. But at a certain point, he was taking like smashing amiibos. You know what the amiibos are, right? From
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Smash, the little figurines, and he would use like model clay and stuff like that. So he would like um pretty much change the designs of the amiibos and into his own characters, pretty much. To his own original characters that he made up, and he'll sell those. And he never got in trouble for it. No, didn't tell him, hey, you need to stop doing that or whatever. But it could be that because he made them into his own thing. He wasn't selling, a link, a modified link amiibo. It was just like his character. as an amiibo. So I don't know, or it could be that maybe here in the United States, the laws are different. Maybe in Japan you can't do stuff like that. I don't know because like can't like let's say maybe you custom paint an amiibo or something, and you sell it here. Like I don't know. I feel like he should have gotten in trouble, honestly.
I mean, yeah, that kind of goes into the territory of what about artists that make like anime posters and things like that. You know, like the
Right.
yeah. Let's say I commission our friend Nathan to create like a I don't know like a Great Pretenders anime poster for me, or just draw somebody for me and just create it and color it and all that. Like, does that go into the territory of he can't sell that, he'll get in trouble for it? Which I know, isn't there like a law or like a rule that some tattoo places kind of like follow, or like they can't tattoo certain like things on people?
I don't know. I know that they ask you to let them know what you want to get tattooed, especially right now, where you have to make like an appointment and stuff like that ahead of time because of
Mm-hmm.
everything. So they have an idea of ahead of time of what you want to get tattooed on you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. They'll be like, "Hey, don't do that because I recently got a tattoo, and it's Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise on my forearm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Pokemon. You know, um, but the guy didn't say, "Oh, we can't do that because that's Pokemon." He just went ahead and did it. So
Yeah.
I don't, and also like with the conventions, you go to conventions, you see people having their own like fan art, their own artwork, and they're selling that, and then that's okay. Nobody says anything to that. Could it be that maybe because it's an actual like
Figurine.
figurine? It could be maybe because that's the
Maybe.
reason why. I honestly don't know. And
My
again,
Go ahead.
uh, I was just gonna say, and again, this happened in Japan, so again, we don't know what the laws are over
Yeah.
there. Like I said, over here, it seems like it's okay over here. Because in conventions you see this stuff everywhere. Again, you can commission an artist to do it for you. Just it could be different. I honestly don't know.
My only other guess as to why he got in trouble for it maybe is that because they're nude figurines.
It could be. It could be. Yeah.
So like yeah, like I guess it kind of goes along the line of that, because like I know here they do sell nude figurines, but it's usually on like the big websites like Crunchyroll and things like that. And even then, Crunchyroll kind of stays away from stuff like that. Like they try to do like the etchy kind of stuff where it's like Nami with like pink smoke around her, like private parts and things like that. But like she's essentially like you like the figurine is naked, but obviously like the pink smoke is covering up. It won't be
It won't
shown, but
show.
like yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's they'll show everything else but that. So
Right.
yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it really really depends. Uh, it just depends on where I guess the place might be, or how provocative, right? Or how I don't know, just how it is. Like I guess nudity might be a big no no, and they're like, hey man, isn't Madoka Magic like kids too, or is it like actual adults?
No, they're middle schoolers.
Yeah, okay, that might be another reason as to why. Like, why are you selling middle schooler, nude figurines? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, sucks that that's how he decided to make a living, but he also made like 55 grand. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
man. So you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, bro.
that's
Yeah.
true. But like at the same time, he's a grown man. He could probably go figure out work at a factory or something. Like you don't need to sell
Work at
figurines.
a factory. Hey, man. Sometimes you gotta be out here and you gotta deal. You know what I'm saying? You gotta sling. You gotta sling that thing. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, no, you're not wrong. That was an option. I just don't know if. Yeah, that's
Hey,
it for the
well,
new set.
yep. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the new segment, and we're gonna be tuning out now. Rafa, turn off the TV.
Thank you, Hector. And me for the news.
I don't think I've ever closed it out with turn off the TV, but normally
That's cool.
after the news, you usually say just you just flip the channel, go to Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon
Right.
or Toonami. Toonami, shout out Toonami. We did recently talk about that. Wow, this is kind of just a big jumble, huh?
Nah, that's good.
I want to talk about it just popped in my head real nice. Speaking of TV, speaking of something that you watch on the television screen, or maybe your phone screen, or a tablet, or a computer, or a laptop. Rafa, there's this amazing app, this site called Netflix. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
You're making this a lot harder for me. Netflix is a.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. I was kidding. Netflix is a website or a site or an app or whatever you want to say that offers
A service.
a service. There you go.
Service.
Great, incredible, original anime as well as tons and tons of sick movies and TV shows. But we're talking about anime, right? So recently on CBR.com, which is a pop culture, movie, comics, TV, anime, gaming website, they recently came out with an article literally yesterday by Marcelo Garcia, who has listed the 6 best Netflix original anime. Keyword on original anime because there's a ton of other anime on Netflix that has been licensed for them to stream on their service. However, they can't claim it as a Netflix original anime. But these 6 are, in CBR's opinion, the 6 best. So we're going to be moving forward and going down the list and kind of discussing what we think about these. Have we watched them? Have we not? And yeah, so first and foremost, we have Great Pretender as the number 1 anime of Netflix best original animes.
Yeah, not surprised.
Okay. To be honest, I kind of am. I think it's kind of. I mean, it's fantastic. I absolutely love the show. I think it's great. I cannot wait for the next season and everything. But I'm a little surprised that it's number 1. Honestly.
Nah, I'm not. It's such a good show. It's such a unique, different show. That something like that when it catches like steam, I guess, like when it starts really getting popular, like people are gonna notice for sure.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I mean, over some of the ones that I believe are on the list or should be on the list, like I'm a little surprised that it's number 1. Coming at number 2 is Dorohedoro, which is a unique story with distinct worlds. It takes place in the Whole, a desolate industrial city where non-magic users reside. Dorohedoro centers on the duo Kaiman and Nikaido, who hunt sorcerers in search of the one who changed Kaiman into a lizard man. A disfigured human with the head of a lizard, Kaiman has no memory before meeting Nikaido. As the pair embark on their adventure, they find themselves targeted by a group of sorcerers and grow closer to discovering the truth behind Kaiman's past over the course of Season 1. I've definitely seen this on my Netflix suggested. I have had it in my list to watch myself, but I've never actually fully dived into it. It looks very funky. The art style is definitely different. I know there's some scenes that are kind of a little bit CGI, so I've been a little hesitant on it, but I mean, Dorohedoro looks interesting. Kind of surprised that it came in at number 2, but that's only because I haven't watched it, and I wonder what the rest of the other ones are because I feel like I would have put something else in maybe 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if you have watched this
yeah,
though.
I don't know a show like that at all. Yeah, I mean, if they say it is, I mean, I can think of other shows where that could be on this list over that. Definitely, I have 2 shows in mind specifically, but I'll save them
Towards
towards
the
the
end.
end of the list. Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is Baki. So we've definitely spoken about Baki before, but just to kind of give you a little brief oversight, being a martial arts series, the highlights of Baki is fight scenes which are admittedly a bit formulaic. It follows up a classic from the early 2000s. Netflix Baki continues the journey of its titular character in its quest to defeat Yujiro Hanma, the world's strongest creature, who also happens to be his own father. Despite sharing a name with the series, Baki is rather absent from the most of the action in the newest arcs. Instead, the focus shifts to his many allies who are luckily just as capable and entertaining to watch. Never liked the show, only because it's
Nope.
incredibly CGI.
It's bad. A lot of people like the show. There's a fan base behind this show, and I guess I'm in the minority when it comes to this, but I do not like this show. This show is it's wacky in the worst ways. It's dumb in the worst ways. There the biggest fault against it is that the most of the fight scenes are CG, and it's not even good CG. It's CG that really it takes you out of it, and you're just like, I'm just really watching some bad CG here. And then they do this thing which I've brought up before. I'm just gonna really quickly gonna say it. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
recap it really quickly. Is that they do this thing where they try to like make you be impressed or be amazed by the fighter by going through this really long explanation about how strong they are. Like as an example, the a volcano erupts at I don't know, like the velocity when a volcano erupts launches rocks at 2,000 miles an hour, just some crazy fact that nobody cares about, and then they'd be like, yeah, and our hero here could punch faster than that. It's like, okay, you went. Why did you? Why did you take so much time explaining some random fact just to tell me this guy could punch hard? Just show me he could punch hard. Don't waste my time with that. This show did that a lot, and it takes you out of it. It's very jarring. I definitely disagree with that one right there. I don't know. I don't know why people like this show.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get into episode one, and I just hate CGI. I just hate CGI anime. I like, for me, like the quality of an anime, the artistic style that they go with, it really heavily dictates if I'm actually gonna get into it or not. And then sometimes I have to kind of persevere, but I just couldn't with this one. So there's that, and especially if you didn't like it, and you tend to like, wacky kind of anime and things like that, like that just kind of says a lot. But that being number three is kind of insane. Although I do hear a lot of people that aren't really into anime do really like this show. Um, I just can't get behind that movement, man. Um,
Yeah,
the next one being number four on the list, High Score Girl. A show about a different kind of combat. High Score Girl travels back in time to 1991, the golden age of arcades. After Haruo runs into his classmate Akira on the other side of Street Fighter II cabinet, the two find themselves intertwined in each other's lives from that day forward. Despite being polar opposites, a relationship sparks between the two, making for an unlikely pairing. As a story of romance and youth, the series is a love letter not just to the games prominent in it, but the culture and relationships that bloomed from it. Interesting. Uh, the art style looks kind of weird. Granted, the picture
it's
that they're showing
CG.
is kind of weird. Oh, okay, that makes a ton of
It's
sense.
CG anime. Yeah, I seen a good amount of a good amount of this show. I don't think I saw the full season though. I ended up dropping the show. I have my reasons. For one of the reasons is the main girl doesn't really talk.
Mm.
She's quiet. She's kind of just grunts and makes noises. And I was just like, why can't you speak? Something wrong with you? Are you special in that certain type of way? Why can't you talk? She never talks. I don't know if she talks later on, but that's where I left off. She doesn't talk. That annoyed me. And like I think the reason why people like this show, or at least the guy who wrote this article, is because of that nostalgia feeling of like playing video games when you're a kid with your friends and like being in an arcade and stuff like that. Because they do capture that very well in the show when there's a bunch of kids playing around arcade machines, being hauled around, seeing who's fighting who, and on Street Fighter 2 on the Mortal Kombat cabinet and stuff like that. I remember some of that. Back in the day when I was a kid. So I feel like they do capture that very well in the show, and I feel like that's why people like the show, because of that sense of nostalgia. And yes, it is, a very sweet, innocent like love story involved between the two main characters. But for me, it's not. I feel like there's not enough there really uh to really call this one of the best original anime on Netflix. Especially with one of the characters who doesn't speak like that. Like you can't really like I don't know. It's just like how am I supposed to get attached to these characters where one of them doesn't even talk? And I don't want that to be taken like, oh well, do all the characters need to talk? Like no. Like for example, what's the name of that movie with the girl? She's mute. What is she deaf? Mute, but she can't talk.
I think
No,
she's mute. And it's
no, she's deaf. She's deaf.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm forgetting what the name of the show is. A Silent Voice.
A silent voice where she's the main girl is deaf. So she can't. You really don't hear her talk that much, except for like a few certain scenes. But the way they portray that character, you do get how she feels, her emotions, when she's sad, when she's happy, and stuff like that. You really don't get that with this show. It's just oh the main girl's mad and look she's kicking him and now she wants to go play another video game. It's just like I don't know. It's just I really feel it's just a nostalgia feeling of why people are so attached to the show because you do see like old school video games on there, like they're playing Street Fighter 2 and stuff like that. So but not it would not be on my list for sure.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, like I said, I can't say I've watched this show before. Especially knowing that now it's a CGI anime as well. Will not be watching the show anyways. So, number 5 on the list. It doesn't surprise me, but it kind of surprised me that it's low. Beastars. In the world of Beastars, there exist two groups, carnivores and herbivores. While many species have come together to form an advanced society, they do so in careful balance. The consumption of meat is illegal, and carnivores are prohibited from attacking herbivores, but laws can be broken. Following the maiming of a herbivore student at his school, Legoshi, a gray wolf, encounters Haru, a dwarf rabbit, and finds his growing feelings for her at odds with his primal instincts in a story of romance, betrayal, and identity. Beastars is
It's
a
yeah, go
show.
ahead.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words, but go ahead.
I was gonna say this is Zootopia, but like more not I'll say wagger because you say wagger, but like more mature,
Yeah,
you know, because it kind of follows the same themes with where what Zootopia was doing, but they don't shy away or kind of look away when it comes to like them having like sex and
yeah. The
violence
adult
and
content on here
it,
is turned up.
it's there. It's rated MA for sure. Like I'm pretty sure like it's rated MA,
It is, yeah.
and if anyone's interested. So yeah, some of the scenes get kind of awkward, kind of like almost cringe depending on the scenes. There's one specific one that I can think about that was just like, man, what's happening? Like, where did this come from? And
Yeah.
it catches you by surprise, and it kind of sets the tone of this uneasiness that runs throughout the whole show because it does deal with some really dark and heavy topics, like your identity and who you are and what's expected from you, are you gonna follow down the same stereotypes that are set out before you? Like for example, like with the wolf guy, people expect them to be like predators, like Hector was saying, they expect them to, to eat other animals, right? So that's like a metaphor or like kind of doing a comparison like oh well this is what people believe of from you, this is what's stereotyped from you, are you going to follow that stereotype type of thing? It really looks into who you are as a I don't say as a person because they're animals, but like that's kind of like the point they're trying to make is that who you are as a person, who do you believe you so who you are to yourself and will you follow what other people believe from you, believe expect from you? Do you follow those expectations, those stereotypes, things like that? And there's a love story in there too between the little bunny girl and the wolf guy, um and it gets pretty it gets it's a really good watch, but it's interesting and just get ready because you will cringe at certain times.
Yeah, and I feel like I know exactly what scene you're talking about because that scene made me very uncomfortable and cringe a bit.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's also because it's very interesting. To be honest, and I genuinely think it's a really good show. Like I think that it
it
does
is a good show.
it
Yeah,
brings you in. It gets you really kind of focused on the story and the plot and everything. It's like it's super like it makes you focus in hard. And I feel like the cringe moments, the moments that kind of make you uncomfortable, I feel like they're perfectly placed in the show's like the pacing of the show with the cringe moments and like the uneasiness, the uncomfortable feeling that you get. Cause like you'll get uncomfortable for an episode, and then maybe one or two episodes later you'll get uncomfortable again, and like it just keeps you on your toes. Like,
yeah.
oh, this is still a thing. So like I don't know, it kind of hooks you in pretty well, and I really enjoy it. I love Legoshi, um, as the main protagonist, the wolf, and it's yeah, I mean, I can't wait for season two. Which actually, before we kind of continue with the final number, the final one on this list, season two was actually just dropped an official trailer for this show. It does not have an official release date just yet, but the trailer looks phenomenal. It's gonna continue a lot of what the story is kind of showing, and I'm super excited to see where this kind of ends off with. And yeah, I mean, who knows? This whole thing is kind of nutty. This show in general is something that people should experience themselves as well if you kind of into it. But again, TVMA, uh, beware. I guess is just all I'm gonna say with that.
Right.
And last but not least, at number six, which this one I feel like should be number one or number two, is Violet Evergarden.
Mm-hmm.
Violet Evergarden is a deep dive into humanity and the experiences that link individuals together. Violet Evergarden is one of the latest projects from Kyoto Animation. Known for its breathtaking visuals, the studio does not disappoint here, with some of the most beautiful environments and portrait shots in anime. The main character is a veteran who, following the war's conclusion, decides to find a new purpose as an auto memory doll, a traveling writer who helps others put their feelings into the words in letters. On these travels, she encounters countless individuals and their stories, each of which serves as a valuable lesson in developing her own sense of belonging. Um, I myself have not watched this show fully. I'm about a few episodes in, and then I always tend to find myself either coming back to it or just kind of dropping it for some time, continue watching other animes, and then just kind of always saying, "Oh yeah, Violet Evergarden is out there. Like I should watch this." I know for a fact the show is incredibly loved, and even though Great Pretenders is an absolute phenomenal banger of an anime, I feel like Violet Evergarden should be at the number one spot.
I would put this on my number two spot.
Hmm.
I just love just the Great Pretender for me is just such a unique and interesting, such a stylized, such a really cool anime that I would put it above Violet Evergarden. But Violet Evergarden, it's one of those anime where it's not rushing itself and it's not running to finish. There's a lot of these anime out there who, they're quick to show you, oh, look at all this action, look at all this and look at all that. Really kind of going through the story really quick through these episodes, right? And we said it before where some of these other shows feels like they're running through the stories, and we're like, we wish that they could slow it down a little bit. This is Violet Evergarden is the definition of a slow burn anime. Um, and it's not the thing. I love this anime because first of all, it's beautiful to watch. It's just the animation is great. Kyoto Anime once again knocks it out of the park with their animation, and on top of that, there is no. This is why I love this show. There is no there's no etchiness, there's no panty shots, there's no like, oh my god, don't walk in on me, I'm naked, scenes, and there's no, like lowbrow jokes, and everybody is, yes, there is humor in the show, but like the show presents itself as, this we're here to tell you stories about humans connecting to each other, the humans finding sympathy and empathy within each other, finding support within each other, really looking for that human connection type of thing, Um, I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll say it again. There's this one specific episode on this show where it literally made me cry from beginning to end. Like I said last time, I'll say it again. It was episode 8. I cried through the whole thing because the topic that they were speaking about, I somewhat related to it. And then that's the thing about this show. That's the biggest, uh, I don't say the best thing about this show is that the way that it relates to the viewer. Because yes, it's in a different world, it's in a different environment. Like I said, Violet, she's a veteran. She doesn't have her arms. She has like robot arms, mechanical arms. She's an amputee, and it's not set in the real world, but the conversations, the experiences, the interactions that Violet Evergarden has with the rest of the characters in the show are real. You get to see someone who, just like everybody else, just like myself, and I'm pretty sure Hector is trying to find their place in the world, trying to find, how do they fit in the world, trying to find like friendship and love, and trying to find, sympathy, and trying to find someone who you can speak to, someone you can just have there to be able to talk to you about, maybe having a bad day, you just want to vent to someone, or you know you're excited and you want to tell someone the exciting news you got. Just being able to connect with someone is the essence of this show, and it captures it amazingly. And yes, it's one of the best shows, if not the best show on Netflix. But honestly, this is one of the best shows ever, just because of how real and how down to earth, and how it truly captures the essence, the emotional essence of what a human being is.
Hmm. I actually really like that. I like that explanation. Yeah, I mean that's honestly why I feel like it should be number one. But I fully see your point on the Great Pretender, and yeah, I mean this show is really really great. If you have not watched it and you just kind of want something to dip your toes into anime, this is a phenomenal choice.
It's
It's
great. Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good.
so like if you have never watched anime before, if you get anything from this episode of the Bento Boxcast, it's to watch Violet Evergarden. Now, I kind of am a little
Hmm.
bit of a hypocrite because I have started but have not finished it, but I already know how much love this show gets, and in just the 1 to 3 episodes I think I've watched of it, like it's really really good. So definitely check it out, and also check out The Great Pretender. It's really really good too.
Yes.
Definitely check those out. Um, but yeah, those are Marcelo Garcia's and CBR.com's opinions on the 6 best Netflix original animes.
I have 3 shows that I would put on my list that he did not put on.
Mm, okay, well, would you want to give us these 3 shows with a brief description of each?
Sure. Um, the first one is called sorry, it's called Little Witch Academia. It is about, let's say if they took Harry Potter and touched and had a they mix it with like the magic of like kind of like Disney, if that kind of makes sense. It's lighthearted and it's fun and it's cute. It's but also it doesn't. I'm trying to see how could I describe it. It's pretty much like this witch, or this girl who wants to become a witch, as she goes to school. Like, that's like what the whole Harry Potter thing is. Like, she goes to a school of witches, but she's not like the best at it. She's pretty bad at being a witch, so it's a lot of funny scenes with her kind of messing up with using magic and things like that. But it's a very heartwarming story. There's a movie and then there's a series.
Hmm.
They're both really good. I highly recommend it. The animation is great. Um, and it's by Studio Trigger, which you know they do great work.
Uh-huh.
And it's just it's a really fun, it's a really fun anime. It's really great moments in there, and you like the characters. The characters are a lot of fun. It's just a really good, fun, kind of PG-esque anime that deals with magic. From there, I have Dragon Pilot, Hisoni, and Matsu-san, which I've brought up before. Um, I think I recommend you this for Anime Swap. If not, it was a slept on anime. I don't even remember that, but it was about the dragon pilots. You know
Oh, I do
the
remember that. You did you brought it up, but you did not recommend it.
okay. Have you seen any of it?
Oh, actually no, I'm wrong. You did. It was for Anime Swap. You did tell me to watch it, but I do remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is considered a Netflix original because Netflix has the rights to stream it. That's why it's an original Netflix show. Um, it's Studio Bones works on it or worked on it. This show is just it's such a unique and different show. It's such a weird premise, but it's like the weird premise is what kind of brings you in. Like, what is this show? But you stick around for the characters. You stick around for the story, and this story has a lot of heart, and you really care about these characters. And it's also really funny, and the ending is one of the best endings I've ever seen. The ending song credit part is like one of the best I've seen. And definitely this one, like you can argue with me about the other two, but this one definitely should have been on this guy's list. And I'm pretty sure he didn't seen it, he didn't see it at all, or somehow it went under his radar. I'm assuming, but it is BNA, brand new animal. How does he not have this on the list? Hey, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, actually.
We talked about it. BNA. This about with the little two.
Oh. I didn't think of BNA putting it on this list.
How did right? How did he
Why
not?
isn't this on the list actually? No, I didn't think like
Right. How is
BNA
it?
was
How
good. It was actually
it's
really good.
it's really good. It's really good, and it's a Netflix original. I don't know why he didn't have it on the list. That's what I'm saying. He must have went under his radar. He must have not watched it for whatever reason. This is a top tier Netflix anime right here, and it also has the same Zootopia vibes. It doesn't get as mature as Beastars, okay, but it still deals with the same type of topics of your identity and who you are and things like that and how you fit in into the world, because there's prejudice against like the animal beast guys, like human beast guys,
Hmm.
and then there's like the regular humans, who the regular humans hate the beast guys. And there's a whole thing going on with that. It's a great story. There's the twist towards the end. You kind of don't see it coming, and the animation again by Trigger, smooth, top notch animation. You love the character. I love the Tanuki girl, the main girl. She's my favorite. The wolf guy, he's such a badass. It's a great show, and this is one of those rare shows where the English dub is as good as the Japanese dub. So I have no idea why this is not on the list. This guy has failed this list for not having this on there.
You know what else I would probably add on that list that wasn't, or I would take some stuff out of there. I don't know if we could classify this as an anime, but Castlevania.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, so Castlevania, I feel like would beat Dorohedoro or any of the other like side ones that we didn't really understand why it's on there. Or is Seven Deadly Sins a Netflix original?
Yeah, yes, it is.
So why isn't that on there? That's like one of the biggest Netflix anime
That's
shows
the
ever.
biggest one too. Yeah, exactly.
So it's
And
like
I completely forgot about Seven Deadly Sins. Oh, you're right. That should be on there too.
so like that's why it's like I'm sorry, CBR.com, but I think this list is fake news.
It is. It's bonkers. It's stupid. It's dumb.
That's actually really, really dumb. The fact that Violet Evergarden and well, I mean, Great Pretender makes sense, but yeah, I mean, that's
Like
actually really nutty.
he
Dropped
hit
the
like
ball.
two. He
Yeah,
hit like two of them. Violet
that's actually.
Evergarden and Great Pretender, but like, yeah, there's
Isn't
so
like
much better.
Kakeguri also like a big one too?
Yes, it is.
So
That's
like,
really good too.
and Devilman Crybaby, like, there's so many.
That's also rich. That's also another one too. Yeah.
Dude, it's like, what are you doing with this list, guy? I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I cannot. I think 2 out of the 6 are fantastic. Great Pretenders and well, I mean, Beastars is really good too, but I wouldn't put Beastars in the top
Research
6.
is really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, no, yeah, no, I would say half. Yeah, half of the list is wrong because I would put Beastars out there. That
Okay.
one's really good too.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So along the lines, like, 2 to 3 of these are actually really, really great, and then the other 3 are like, why would you even put it up there? The only reason why I feel like Baki's up there is because so many like the surface level anime fans watch Baki. If you know what I'm saying. Now this could be kind of really mean to say, but I feel like a lot of people who like anime, who are really into anime, aren't gonna put Baki in their top 5, top 10.
I don't know. I just for whatever reason, Baki just has that fan base. People just love that show.
Yeah, and that's
I
why I'm
don't get it.
surprised.
I don't get it. There's so much better anime out there. There's so much better fighting martial art anime out there than Baki. So I don't get it. I don't get why people love that anime so much. But for Netflix originals, there's so much way better stuff than
Mm-hmm.
Baki. Baki is bottom tier anime. I don't get why people like that show.
But I mean, yeah, I think we've hit the nail on the head on this one. Clearly this article's wrong, at least in our opinion, and maybe in some of your guys' as well. I feel like a lot of people would be along the lines that, or at least on the agreeing side with us with this one. There's so many better shows that they could have added to this list. So CBR.com, expect some emails coming from our fans. You never know.
Mm,
Rafa and me will be sending you one from the Bento Box LLC email. Believe it.
mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of believing it, Rafa,
Ooh,
ooh,
nice. I like it. I
that
like
was
it.
that was off the chain, off the hook, off the cuff,
Right.
guys. I have huge news. Some that might make a lot of fans very, very happy, and honestly, some that might make some sad. Because honestly, I'm a little bit sad at hearing some of this news. But one of the biggest news in all of anime this past weekend is that one of the biggest anime news in this past week and recently came out that Kishimoto, which is the original writer and creator of Naruto, will be taking over as the lead writer for the Boruto manga. I'm actually incredibly surprised, and here's the reasoning as to why it'll be taking over. The official Twitter account for Kishimoto's Naruto franchise revealed on Monday that Boruto manga story writer uh, Ukiyo Kodachi will retire from the manga, and Kishimoto himself will take over as story writer. The Twitter account stated that the change was planned from the beginning. Kishimoto will take over the role, starting with the 52nd chapter, which Shueisha will publish in the December issue of V Jump on November 21st. Kodachi thanks fans on Twitter for following his work on the manga until now. Kodachi and Miko Ikemoto launched the Boruto sequel manga in the Weekly Shonen Jump in May 2016, and the manga ran monthly in the magazine. The manga transferred to V Jump magazine in July of 2019. So, some sick stuff. I'm incredibly, incredibly excited to continue watching Boruto, to continue reading Boruto, because honestly, a lot of the huge stuff that happened in Naruto was thanks to Kishimoto himself. So I'm so excited to see what Kishimoto can do with his original. Technically this is the baby of his baby, and
Right.
I felt like it was kind of wrong to give it to somebody else and kind of be like, hey, run it. But like, man, like I genuinely cannot wait to see his work. That being said, though, Kodachi, I think, and Mikio Ikimoto did a fantastic job on Boruto manga itself. I think where we're at now currently is incredible. I'm super excited with how these things are progressing. I don't know fully how much Kishimoto had his hands in the pot for this project, because I don't know if he, said, "Hey, I want Naruto to die. I want X and Y to happen to Boruto. I want this to happen to Boruto. I want these characters to surround him and things like that." Like I want to see how much he had, or how much involvement he had in the actual, production of Boruto and the manga itself and the story writing. So to see him kind of come in 52 issues or chapters later is kind of really crazy, because so much can happen in 52 chapters. I want to see where this goes. And the cool part, in my opinion, is that Boruto, or rather, Naruto, kind of picked up on its badassness towards the Shippuden arc. And technically, with the way things are going with Boruto, we're getting to the point where a time skip's going to happen. So I'm super excited. So technically, we might be able to see, at least in my opinion, Kishimoto's best work, which is Naruto Shippuden, which was after that original time skip, and now we get to see it again, but for Boruto. So if all the theories and all the everything that's going on Facebook, Twitter, and things like that, saying like, oh, we're expecting a Boruto time skip, if we're getting to that point and Kishimoto comes in around the beginning of that, if not trying to set up for this time skip, I think I'm going to be really excited for Boruto coming forward, or moving forward. So, yeah, I mean, I know you are somewhat of a fan. At the very least, you've watched Naruto. It's one of the introductory animes that kind of got you into anime. So I don't know how you feel about hearing this. Obviously, this means that the Boruto manga is also going to be following a lot of the path of Naruto. Hopefully, not necessarily a ton of the filler stuff, but if they are, give us really good filler and not some of the really bad filler that they kind of gave back in the day. So yeah, I don't know how you feel about it, Rafa. Let us know.
Oh, it's cool to see that that the OG guy is gonna be able to work on, like you said, his baby's baby, right? The grandpa is taking over. Yeah, I watched the original Naruto. I watched that, and I watched some good amount of Naruto Shippuden. I didn't finish it. I ended up falling off of it. Um, but what I've known and what I've seen, Naruto just got better and better as it went. It got crazier with the ninja wars, and with Naruto. I don't even know what they're called, like the Sage mode or whatever. When he turned all
Yes, sir.
orange, like it just got crazier and crazier. Everything with Orochimaru, and a lot of fan favorite characters who ended up dying. It just Naruto really got bonkers crazy as it
Mm-hmm.
went on, but like good bonkers crazy. I just wasn't there for the ride. I was more like, I was watching you guys ride the roller coaster, and I was watching the roller coaster outside of the line, like, wow, look how cool it is. Um, but it's really cool to see, and it sounds like what you were reading is that they always had this planned out. They always had they always had this plan from the beginning, where the main grandpa over here, that's what I'm calling because I don't remember his name, was gonna come in at a certain point and kind of take over, right? Like that sounded like that was the original plan, anyways. So I feel like maybe he's always been kind of like in the loop of what's happening with the Boruto story, right? Because they were already planning on him coming in later on, anyways, to take over. So most like maybe he has kind of had. Maybe he's had a, somewhat of a say, like, oh, how about we do this, or how about you guys take it this way, so then, when I get my hands on it, I can kind of do this with it. Maybe they had discussions before where they talk about stuff like that. So,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy to me, because I love the show. I love everything about Naruto. I love everything about Boruto, um, except for the filler. But that's
yeah, I
a
mean,
big majority of people feel this exact same way.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Boruto has, in my opinion, been really, really great in the manga. So if he did have his hands in the pot, that's really, really insane for Kishimoto to think, all right, let me kill off my my
My
pride and
main
joy.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then kind of roll in with his son and the next generation, which, I mean, it adds character development, so cool, I guess. And this
Hey,
is it's the Boruto show. It's not Naruto anymore, so it makes sense.
yeah. Take a
Um,
page out of JoJo. Kill off your main guy.
exactly. And I mean, hey, JoJo's still going on, so
Yeah, Georgia's
so
been gone since the 80s.
so there you go. I mean, yeah. So I'm super excited to see where Boruto goes from here. Kishimoto just has this unique, just penmanship and everything, like flowing through him. Like I think he'll kill it. Obviously, if he did so great with Naruto, then a ton of his fans, I know for the at least for the people that kind of fell off right from Boruto, this might like reintroduce them to the show, and so it's like hearing this news will be like, oh, Kishimoto's doing it. Okay, let me try to tune back in, or let me give it a shot again. So hopefully that is the case. I mean, Boruto's already a huge show and huge manga, so there's literally only pluses to him coming on. So that's super dope, super exciting, and hopefully that kind of. I mean, I was gonna say hopefully that makes it even better, but I don't have a doubt in my mind that it will.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's I feel like that's it for this, but we do have something very special planned. It's time to get right into anime swap.
Oh my god.
Like I said, Rafa, I felt like there was like something special we had to do for this anime swap, but I didn't remember. But I feel like that was only because the last two anime swaps have been kind of just all over the place. So like
Right.
this one just felt like it was like, oh wait, we had something cool planned out, right? But it's like, oh wait, no, we didn't.
No.
However,
Hmm.
uh, I'm gonna jump right into the show that you gave me because I'm gonna be honest. I had seen clips of this show like surface through Twitter and through Facebook, and I'm like, yo, this show looks insane. And you gave me Daily Lives of High School Boys.
Yep.
The reason, so okay, I figured out why I stopped watching this show around halfway through episode one, and that is because there were. I looked up the season that this show came out, and there were a ton of other shows that came out around that time that I was more kind of focused on, and this one just ended up becoming a back burner anime, which I never got back to.
Mm.
So when I watched the episode one, two, and three, I actually found myself laughing a decent amount. Like this show did not necessarily disappoint, but at the same time, I was not expecting much from this show. When
Hmm.
I had got to the point halfway through episode one where the one of the main characters shows that he actually shaved off his nipple because he saw his razor and he was thinking, why do guys have nipples? I got to that point and I'm like, oh my god, it's this show because I had remembered
Yeah.
this clip. And I mean, yeah, I'll just read you guys the synopsis of it. So, for those of you that have not watched it or are curious about it, it says Daily Lives of High School Boys. Join Tarakuni, Hidenori, and Yoshitake as they undergo the trials and tribulations of life in high school. Each episode presents the boys and their classmates in unique situations that you may or may not have faced in high school yourself. You'll laugh, you'll cry, but hopefully laugh more. You'll be astounded by the zany antics and the Sanada High School community. And zany is a great way of explaining this show because it was
Yep.
honestly all over the place. And it's I won't say that I'm like incredibly excited to the point where I'm going to continue watching it tomorrow, but I definitely want to finish this show. It seems like one of those where it's like it's so goofy that like I said, I had very low expectations for this show because in my head I'm like, okay, I kind of stopped watching this show a long time ago, halfway through the first episode. So well, let's see why I did this. And then I'm like, this show's actually pretty good. So I would say you kind of you hit this one. You knocked this one out the park, Rafa, because I was not expecting much from this show, and yeah, I'm not gonna say it's in the top echelon of the shows that you've recommended me, but it's up there. Like it's definitely higher up. I say high mid tier of the shows that you've sent me. So yeah,
Cool. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's what I was hoping for because it's like I said, it's a straight wacky comedy, straight funny stuff going on there. You recommended me. I have the name right here. Where is it? How not to summon a demon lord. Um, and while I was watching the first episode, similar to you, I had a deja vu moment. I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember watching this first episode." And oh yeah, I remember why I stopped watching this first episode. Um, I didn't like this at all. At all. I don't. Okay, so I've said it many times before. I am not a big fan of isekais, right? This is an isekai. Especially when it's like fantasy isekai, that also I'm just like, ugh. It doesn't really catch my interest, right? So that's what this show is. But like the biggest fault, the biggest thing about this show that I just don't like, it's an etchy harem and like just watching it, I was just like rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, really? You're gonna. This is what we're doing here. Okay, fine. So, like, I remember the first episode where, like, there was a certain scene where the main guy. Well, anyway, so let me just give a little bit background. So, like, the main guy, he's like a nerd, guy playing like a computer game, and then he gets brought into this world where he is himself. Like so his character in the game is who he is in this world, and he's like super powerful, and he somehow gets locked in. Like he's kind of binded to like this blonde elf girl who has like giant titties, and like this little like flat chested cat girl, and they're like kind of like stuck together, and then like so like they're pretty much a party, pretty much, right? They're a group, and then so they're just and really the show what I would kind of describe the show is just like you're just kind of waiting for the next action scene. That's just the way that I was watching this. I was just when when it wasn't etchy, when it wasn't harem stuff happening on the screen, I was just waiting for it to show up. You know, I was just there bored, like, okay, well, I'm just here waiting for the next thing to show up, and then it shows up, the etchy scene, and then I'm rolling my eyes like, like I just this is not my type of show, you know. And I've never really been into harems, especially etchy harems. They're really never really been my thing. For me to really get into like an etchy harem, they have to be it has to be super different, super unique, like Monster Musume. That was just that show was just so weird and crazy that it actually caught my interest. With this show, I don't know, man. I wasn't really feeling the show. Like for example, with the first episode, there was that one scene where like the guy's like blowing into the cat girl's ears. Remember that scene, Hector, when they're like laying in the bed
I do.
and she's all there like she's like over there orgasming and like losing her mind. I was just like,
Jesus.
I just felt awkward. I just like, oh my God, like I was like I was like clutching my pearls. I was
Oh my
like what?
god.
I was like, what am I watching? What is this? You know, I felt weird, you know. And then so like that's when I originally watched the show. That's when I stopped watching. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch this garbage. That's what I said to myself a few years ago whenever this aired. But rewatching it for Anime Swap this week, I powered through it. I watched it all. Then episode two came around and it opens up. Oh my God. I was like, really, y'all? Like, we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. Like, you know what? Might as well just get into it. Fine, whatever. It opens up with the three main guys, right? The demon lord, the main guy, the big titty elf girl, and the flat chested cat girl. They're all in the same bed, right? The each girl are barely wearing anything, like barely wearing anything, and the guy he kind of like stretches like, ooh, like good morning, y'all, and like he somehow puts his hands on each of the girls' titty, and he's all like freaking out, like, oh man, what am I grabbing? But he's still grabbing. Like it's not like like maybe when you reach something, you touch something, like, oh man, what is that? You kind of like flinch away from it because you don't know what you're grabbing, right? Like a natural human reaction, you know.
He just kept
Instead of
squeezing.
doing instead of doing that, this guy just kept, what is this? What is this bag of like juicy fat I'm squeezing? What is this? Why is it so squishy? What is this? You know? And he's just going in, like literally going in, grabbing, like he's searching for popcorn or some shit. I don't know.
My man.
He's going in, like massaging this boob, right? And the girl's asleep. which is sexual harassment because the girl's asleep. She did not give consent. Okay, I don't care. I'm going to point this out every single time, Hector, because anime is beginning. They've been getting away with too much BS. Okay, and this is some of that BS. So man is just going in, massaging the titty, right? And then
Sorry.
and then I'm literally looking at the time, Hector, because it's like this is the scene. It's you see the hand, and it's just straight up. You see the hand grabbing the titty, cuts to him making a wacky crazy. He's like, "Wah, wah, wah," cuts back to him massaging the titty, cuts back to him going, oh my god, like that's literally for 2 minutes straight. That is the scene, back and forth. And then sometimes he cuts to the other girl where he's grabbing her titties where she doesn't really have any because she's flat chested. That's the running joke with her, right? So it cuts to the other girl and you see him kind of touching her chest, and it cuts to him. It cuts to his face and he's going whoa whoa whoa. I'm just like, what is this? What am I watching? You know? And then the girls wake up and they're like, oh my god, what are you doing? I'm like, why are you in bed with him in the first place like that? Like,
Facts.
and now you wake up and you're like, oh my god, get off me! You're like, really? You first of all, you're wearing nothing and you're just gonna get in bed with him. Like it's just like, and the bed's not that big. You guys are literally like right next to each other. It was frustrating to watch. So then the show continues on. I'm bored as hell watching it, and then the next thing you know, the elf girl's sitting on top of this guy's lap, and he's just going in, touching her boobs. And I'm just like, this is what the show is. This is literally what the show is. The man grabbing boobs, sexually harassing these characters. And then I was like, okay, well, episode three, here we go. Might as well finish this off. I'm already in 2 episodes. And then where I'm here and I'm expecting more etchy BS situations to happen. Episode three literally had like nothing in there. I was like, okay, so you're gonna set me out to expect something, then not even follow through on episode three, whatever. Episode three, he like there's like a fire dragon type thing that he fights, and like they kind of show off his powers or whatever, and then they kind of go on like this adventure. I didn't give a single F about the story. I did not care anything about these characters. I didn't enjoy this at all. And the parts where it was etchy got on my nerves more than anything. This is not. I did not have a good time watching this show.
um, I'm not surprised. To tell you
It's
the
just
truth,
like
not very surprised at all.
I don't know, man. It was just like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating. It was just very frustrating to watch. It's very frustrating to watch. And
Well,
I was like, and I agree. I was like, yeah, I agree with myself back in the day. I dropped it then, and I should have dropped it this time too. So
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I could honestly say that show's definitely more etch than anything. It's literally just all etch. But I mean, I will
it's
say
it.
some of the
It's it.
fight scenes are kind of cool. Very
That's
little
it.
of them though. Very little.
That's literally the show. It's etchiness. It's panty shots. Is every other girl either has giant boobs or don't have boobs at all. Like there's no normal in between. They just have giant boobies running around. Panty shots left and right. Sexual harassment like it's nothing everywhere. And then like yeah, it has cool fight scenes, but it's that generic isekai fantasy fight scenes, like with the main guy is super powerful and he can destroy things in one hit. It's like what I guess the main selling point here is the etchiness, but for me who's not the biggest fan of etchy, there's really nothing for me to attach to here.
Okay. We,
So
we
yeah.
we respect that. I'm not really surprised, like I said. However, we can get right into our next predictions. Hopefully, um, you'll like this one a lot better, a lot better than how to not summon a demon lord. I have for you this week, Rafa. I know I told you one before, but I want to see if you actually have watched this one before. Have you watched the show called Say I Love You?
Say I love you. I don't
It
think
is
so.
on Hulu. It is called it's called "Say I Love You," and the synopsis of it is: to trust is to set yourself up for failure. That's the lesson Mei Tachibana learned when her heart was broken. She found a solution: never make any more friends. It's not as
Wait,
easy.
I think I've seen this one. It's like with a girl with like brown hair, right? And there's like
Brown
a
hair,
dude
black
with like,
hair.
yes, I have seen this one. I've
Okay,
seen all of it. I've seen all of it.
so I'm glad I kind of asked that question beforehand, but I know for a fact you did not watch my other recommendation, which is Tokyo ESP.
Yes, I have not seen this.
Yeah, Tokyo ESP was my other suggestion I had for you, but I kind of wanted to switch it up because I figured you would like Say I Love You, and if you've watched the whole thing, then
I did
clearly
like
you'll
it.
like Say I Love You. Yeah, so okay, so Tokyo ESP. This show I watched quite a bit ago. It was really interesting. It is also on Hulu. Tokyo ESP starts off, or rather, the synopsis is: Rinka is a poor student struggling to support her father. Her world changes after witnessing a flying penguin and a school of fish swimming through the air. When one of the fish passes through Rinka, she suddenly develops extraordinary powers.
Ooh.
So it's really really dope. It's really interesting. Obviously, the title of it is Tokyo ESP. She runs into a lot of funky characters, and some you wouldn't expect. So I mean, this show is like I said, it's very wacky, but it's also a TVMA action TV series. So
Ooh.
yeah, so it's definitely something to look forward to. To be honest, seeing this maybe kind of rewatch it again. But yeah, I really am really curious to see how you feel about this one. So, we'll see moving forward next week what you think about it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I had one originally for you, but throughout the podcast, I changed it, and I'm gonna have you watch Dragon Pilot because it's a really good show, and I want you to watch it.
And that is found on.
It is. It should be on Crunchyroll. Should be. It's no. It's on Netflix. What am I talking about? It's on Netflix. That's the whole reason I came up. It's on Netflix.
Okay, I'll look it up. Oh, that's the one you talked about, right? The one with the
With the Dragon Pilots, yeah. So it's there
dragon pilots.
is
The one with the dragon pilots.
yeah the one with the Dragon Pilots. The pilots with the dragons. Um, this show is about really quickly is about there's like a section in the Japanese Air Force, a special section where it deals with so there's regular like aircrafts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like jets. And there's special aircrafts where they're actually in the skies are dragons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is wacky. It's like what are you talking about? It's one of those anime plots that you just have to buy in, and just accept it for what it is, and you'll enjoy the show. It's a and you pretty much just watch these characters because like to be able to get into the actual like dragon because like you climb the dragon like eats you and you're inside the dragon and that's how you pilot it, you know, if that makes sense. So you're inside its belly and you're able to fly the dragon like that. So kind of like an aircraft. But for you to be able to be able to fly the dragon has to accept you. Like you have to be like a friend with the dragon, pretty much. Because if you're not, it's like the body, like his stomach acid will eat you alive, pretty much. So so these characters, the main characters, these girls have to bond with their specific dragon, so they can be able to fly the dragon itself. And there's a whole story of reasoning like why they doing it, and all is it like the show gives you enough information in the background of why is this a thing, why is it happening, certain things like that, and it does it really well. It's very well paced. The jokes are funny. These characters are super likable. The main girl, she's my favorite. Um, and there's a very nice, really really great story behind this super super weird premise. There's a really great story behind it. And the visuals are it's light, it's soft, it's a very heartwarming story, and the ending song is one of the best ending song credit scenes I've ever seen. So I feel like I hope you enjoy it, man. It's just seriously, this is a very underrated show. This show is seriously underrated.
So I can tell you right now, I just watched the little bit of the teaser for on Netflix, like when they show you kind of like, hey, this is what you should be expecting from the show, and it looks really great. I actually really like the art style.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm excited to watch this. I'll definitely tell you guys about it next week when we kind of get into it. But I mean, yeah, it looks good. It
I hope you like it, man. For the most part, there's very few shows where I'm like, man, I hope he likes it. Like, because I like it so much. This is one of those shows. This is one of those shows I love I love this show. I hope you like it at least, man. Because I'm telling you, bro, this is an underrated show. People don't know this show where they should.
I'm about to say I never heard of this show until you brought it up for like the three shows that you wanted to add to there. But yeah, I mean, that is it for this week of Anime Swap. That is it for this week in general for episode 25 of the Bento Boxcast. It ended up becoming quite a lengthy one, and I'm kind of glad. Um, it was a good one. I just liked it in general. It was a good episode. I felt good about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys feel the exact same way and enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure to leave a comment down below. Tell us something. Enjoy the episode. Hope you guys did. And then obviously, just kind of get in the conversation with us. Give us some of your top picks for the Netflix. What would you change? What would you add? What would you omit? What would you have done differently? Right? And then
Yep.
also, of course, tell us how you feel about Kishimoto taking over as the writer for Boruto Manga, and anything else we talked about, Attack on Titan, and any other news segments that Rafa brought up, and anything like that. So yeah, I mean, definitely comment down below, tag us and stuff on Twitter, and yeah, let me give you guys the proper outro before we do. But even then, before I get into that, Rafa, do you have any final shout outs to give?
Oh, of course. I just want to say I just want to give a shout out to Geek Jar 3000, the Play Pod with Alex, John, and me. I also do another podcast. Technically, I did two podcasts with them over there at Geek Jar 3000. That's the name of the channel. And we have our weekly podcast where we talk about TV shows, pop culture, but mostly about video games. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts. Go check it out, guys, if you guys enjoy that. If you want to hear more of me, over there, it's more loose. We curse over there. Some of us say some kind of really out there things. What's the that word cluster F. You know,
It's a cluster fudge.
yeah, it's a cluster fudge, but in a good way. But in a good way. It's a lot of fun podcasting with those guys. Um, it's a different vibe between me and Hector here, for sure. But there's nothing against. I'm not trying to take away anything from either podcast, right? It's just a different podcast with those two knuckleheads over there. So you wanna listen to a bunch of dum dums who don't know anything about video games but pretend like they do. Go listen to that. It's a lot of fun. We also have the Does It Hold Up movie podcast that's specifically only on the audio platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where we go and watch old school classic movies that like people know, and we give our opinions to see if does it hold up to today, in modern times? Is it still a good movie as as people remember it, right? First episode that just came out a few weeks ago was The Matrix. Uh, Spoiler, this is a little quick hint. I was not the biggest fan of that movie. And I'm still not, but uh, yeah. And the next episode that should be coming out, I think, in a week or two, we're gonna be reviewing Saving Private Ryan. So
Ooh.
that's gonna be a fun episode to talk about. 'Cause, what I remember, I haven't seen it recently, but what I remember, I really enjoyed that movie a lot. So I'm gonna have to watch it again, see how I feel about it nowadays. And speaking of Alex and John, they also have a t-shirt company with our friend Nathan at Nathan's on Twitter. So they do custom print tees, custom like fits, stuff like that, the hoodies and all that other stuff, t-shirts. So at 3upprints.com, that's their website. So if you have any specific custom shirts you guys need to be made, want to be made, like the family barbecue, for the office party, for whatever you got going on in your life, these guys got you. They have great prices. They do great work, top tier stuff, man. They have some really awesome stuff. Their last limited edition drops was for Halloween. Was awesome, awesome stuff, man. It was some really great limited edition T-shirts and hoodies they had on there, and I have a little bit of the inside scoop with these guys. So I know some of the newer stuff that's gonna be coming out soon. Hector, get ready. There's some really good stuff they got coming. I'm not gonna say what
Ooh.
it is.
Okay.
I ain't gonna hint at it. All I'm gonna say is that these guys have some amazing stuff gonna coming out soon. So get ready, guys. Get ready to cop that stuff, because man, if you miss out, you're gonna miss out forever. Because these guys, when they say limited edition, limited run, they mean it, man. And I've seen some of the stuff they got coming up. It's some really really great stuff. So 3Up Prints, go check them out, man. They're on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. They have some awesome stuff, man. Go check them out. And shout out to y'all, shout out to the listeners, and thank you, Hector. That's all I gotta say.
What a great presidential goodbye that you just gave there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely shout out to everybody out there in the Bento Boxcast realm. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this very very delicious episode of the Bento Boxcast. You guys got your bentos ready and are excited for the next one next week. That being said, as a reminder, we will be going back to Friday uploads. This last one was a Sunday upload, and it was a one and done. You never know. We might do like some special sometime later
We're,
down the
we're
line.
experimenting, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? We're still trying to figure things out here.
We're still young, man. We're learning, you know?
Right, right.
But that being said, guys, definitely if you want to get in contact with us, like I said before, all the links in the description down below are great ways to do it. If you're trying to listen to us on the go, you can do so via anchor.com/Bento Boxcast. If not, like I said, click the link down below. And as well, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anything associated with Anchor. You can also contact us on Twitter via Bento Boxcast, and Rafa and myself at our personal Twitters, which will be linked down below. And I mean, yeah, you just have so many options to get in contact with us, tag us, put us in different stuff, and let us know what you want us to talk about. If you have any suggestions for topics, definitely put them down below in the Discord or anywhere else. And lastly, and not least, check out my twitch.tv/ultra_vmen stream. I stream a wide variety of games. At this point, it's kind of nutty. We have Cold War, Call of Duty Cold War. We have Valorant. We have Smite. We have Rainbow Six Siege. I literally just got Assassin's Creed Valhalla today. There's a ton of stuff that we can be gaming on there, and so definitely can't wait to see you guys there. We are very, very close to hitting affiliate, so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, once again, just thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one. Rafa, did I forget anything?
No, man. It sounds like that's pretty much it.
Freaking lit. We'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
See ya.